celebrations.
I like that.
So these videos were never started to impress you, really. They were started to hold myself accountable for doing some training. And so I'm going to be quite candid about what the watts are and what the watts per kilo work out to be for this FTP, because it's not about comparing myself to you or you comparing yourself to me at all, especially as we all know that power meters are wildly inaccurate. What aren't massively inaccurate though are weighing scales, and I know that I am massively out of shape and well overweight at the moment. So let's have a look and see what we get this week, and then when I retest, fingers crossed, the only thing I care about is that I've made an improvement. It's the only thing that you should care about with your training as well, in my opinion. But that's the plan. So going to do a quick 11-12 minute warm up and then give it a go. Last time I did this, I managed to do a minute at 340 watts, which gave me an FTP of around 255. And the protocol I use is 1 minute steps at 6% my FTP increase. So let's crack on, see how far we get. I've got a feeling this might need a little bit of Jane's Addiction today. So I'll put these in, smash out a bit of music, see how we get on. Okay, that's the warm up done. On to the ramp test. Let's do this. Well, that was unsurprisingly upsetting. Just not in a bad way, just in a horrible way. I got up near the 400 mark, I'm not sure where it was at. Tax always does something strange where it doesn't completely go into erg mode, so I have to ride to watts myself rather than relying on the erg adjusting. It's probably my settings that I've messed up somewhere. That's not necessarily a bad thing. It does mean that the watts fluctuate a little bit, but I think it was around 380 or 390 for the last minute. I don't know what that will mean in terms of my FTP, but I have to put that into the calculator and work it out. I could argue that I've stopped earlier on purpose because the last video I put out is about to go live in 4 minutes, and I should hop on to watch that. See if the one person that watches it when it comes out is there. Anyway, that's the FTP done. So next thing, I'll talk about what the result is and what my watts per kilo is, because at the moment I'm 107.3 kilos. The aim is to lose a kilo a week. I'm not going to go for any of these kind of crazy weight loss things. I've worked out that a kilo a week is both healthy and achievable, but also sustainable, but also it will get me down to the weight I need to be at for next year, with plenty of time to spare to train at that weight. So I've just got to be prudent and consistent. Anyway, let's have a look at the maths. Got to dig this weight music for YouTube videos. Anyway, there's a minute to go, and there's apparently one watching now. Ian Muscle's watching. All right, Ian. Thanks for watching the premiere, Ian. I'm always really rubbish at remembering to do this bit, but it really helped the channel. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, hit the subscribe button down below, the notifications bell. Every time I release a video, which at the moment is twice a week, always going to be once a week, even when I'm busy, it will let you know when I've uploaded that video. Okay, so I've done the test, I've done the maths from it, and here are the results of this month's FTP test. So in March, before the lockdown, I did an FTP test. It came in around about 255 watts. The last minute of what I did this week, I managed to hold 380 for 1 minute, which is my last block. And what I do for my test is I take 75% of that maximum 1 minute to give me my FTP, which works out to be, got it all written up here, 285. So I've increased from 255 to 285. Now, that sounds like a big leap, but that is since March. And if I'm completely honest with you, there are probably 3 good reasons why the FTP's increased that much. One is the weight. A heavier rider will always put out more power, and as we talk about in the video that I put out on Monday, a link here about FTP, which is why I put that video out, by the way, because I wanted to explain some of the background to this. Obviously, a heavier rider someone with a high FTP, just because they're heavier, doesn't mean they'll go faster because of the watts per kilo thing, which I'll get into in a minute. So that increase primarily is probably because of weight. The weight that I've got that I'm carrying at the minute, I'm 107 kilos. And the second reason is that, in all honesty, and this is all about honesty, this video, or these videos, I've had a bit of a tough day the day I did my FTP test. It had been a real struggle. I was supposed to do the FTP test first thing in the morning. Things kind of got a little bit out of hand at home, and it was one of those days when I just couldn't get into a rhythm at all, and I found quite a lot of frustration and stress that day for one reason and another, and that can really fuel you sometimes and really drive you, and that's one of the other problems with these FTPs being estimates, is the fact that you can't control certain things like that. So that was another reason. And the third reason, and if I'm honest with you, probably one of the biggest reasons it's had that big jump, is because I did that massive block of riding in July when I rode the 3 weeks, 55 kilometers every day for 21 days. And that's going to have a big bearing on you. That volume of work, those climbs, those intervals is going to help your bike riding. I've done a couple of turbo sessions since I did my FTP test, and that increase in FTP value, the intervals that I've been doing, they feel right, which is great news. So 285 is the new FTP, which I'm quite happy about. If I can keep that FTP there, but drop my weight, it will have a significant difference, because at the minute I'm riding at 2.6 watts per kilo for FTP. So that's 285 watts divided by 107 kilos gives you 2.6 watts per kilo. Now, the average good rider should be riding around about 3 watts per kilo. So to get down to 3 watts per kilo, this kind of average thing, I'd need to get down to 94 kilos, which is 12 kilos less than I am at the minute. That's quite a significant drop. I'd still need to maintain that FTP level, or raise it, obviously. To get down to what I would love to get down to, which is 3.5 watts per kilo, by the time I get to doing my Grand Tour idea for next June, June it will start now, I think, because they moved the dates forward. To get down to 3.5 watts per kilo, I'd have to keep my FTP at 285 and drop my weight to 81 kilos. Now, that would be a dream come true, if I'm honest with you. If I could ride around about 80, just below 80 kilos, with an FTP around about 280, 290, I'd be over the moon. That would give me an FTP roughly around 3.5 watts per kilo, which would be absolutely perfect for me. But those are the results, basically where we stand at the minute. I'm at 285 watts and at 2.6 watts per kilo. So the idea over the next 6 weeks would be to train and train and train, and then weigh myself and do another FTP ramp test and see where we're at. That's the plan. So yeah, there we go. There's the results.
Personally, I think it's quite hard to get excited about anything at 6 o'clock in the morning. But I kind of am excited this morning because I'm going for a swim, and I always enjoy going for a swim. I'm sure you all know that by now. But today, you might notice I'm in the car. It's a bit strange because I normally walk to the sea or to the lake. I always used to walk to the pool, but I'm not going to the lake or the sea today. I am going to the pool for the first time since February. And because of the way the system's set up, I've got to go in fully changed, and I've got to come out in my swimming cosy. So I'm going to drive down. It's only 800 meters away, but I'm still going to drive down. I've got 2 sessions booked today, one at 6:30, and I'm just going to use that one to just get my feel for the water back, really, to feel for swimming in the pool. Primarily not swimming into a wall. I'm really worried about switching off completely and just swimming straight into the wall, because obviously swimming in the lake and the sea, you don't have to worry about that. But I'm also going to do a CSS test this morning, and then I'm going to come back, check on Bex, make sure she's okay. She's getting stronger by the day after last week's round of chemo, which was pretty vile. It's not even pretty vile, it's just vile. And then I'm going to go back at 7:45 and do a proper swim set. So in at the deep end, almost literally, or the shallow end really, but you know what I mean. Looking forward to this. Well, that felt both odd and good. Good to see some friends in the pool, Martin, Matty and Joan, all in there swimming really well. Just felt odd being back in the pool. Anyway, CSS test done, 626 for the 400, 309 for the 200, which works out to be a CSS of 139, which, you know, it's not my fastest. My fastest 400, I think I swam 5:46. Fastest 200 is 2:46, and which is considerably faster than that. But I was swimming a lot, and yeah, I'm quite happy with that. 139. So at least I know what my CSS pace is now, and that means that when I come back in 35 minutes, I can do a set based around 139 as being my my CSS pace. Right, anyway, onwards with the day. Plan for this set is just to do blocks of 4x100s at CSS pace with 20 seconds recovery, and blocks of 4x50 meters, kind of max or hard with 10 seconds recovery, just alternating those blocks of 4x100s, 450s, 4x100s, 450s until they say, that's it, get out of the pool, your time's up. So I better get in there. Oh yeah, that's good. And I'm done for the day in the pool.
So everyone has good weeks and bad weeks, that's for sure. And these videos are always about being honest. And this has been a taxing week, stressful for multiple ways. Everybody has those family and work pressures. But just found this week a little bit of a tough one to find the mental space to kind of find my own pace really at certain things. Being able to do a little bit of training here and there has been good, getting back in the pool and getting on the turbo, but other than that it's all been a bit of a mad one really. But anyway, let's hope this next week kind of eases off a bit and I can find a little bit of a rhythm. I guess it's a bit like going up a climb on a bike, isn't it? Some climbs you find really fine and you get into a rhythm and they're pretty easy. Other times you're struggling to really get your kind of cadence in the right place, and that's what this week's felt like a little bit. Yeah, I'm out walking this one at the moment, and gonna head back now and have a cup of coffee and try and kick back a little bit. Have a good week, and I'll see you in the next video.